The one big, beautiful bill.
He's signing the bill.
Who's going to lose the most from the big, beautiful bill?
The uneducated are always the losers, because if you don't know that the tax code is a game, you will get left behind and you will always end up tipping Uncle Sam. The most common mistake people make is they make money, pay their taxes. They never try to figure out ways to save, reinvest, or utilize the government system to their advantage. But this is an opportunity for everyone to get educated right now and to gain control of their financial future. For anybody that wants to build their wealth, you can take advantage of the tax code by following the government's rules.
So what if so few people know about these strategies?
Because the wealthy do not want to share the secrets. If everybody knew about this tax strategy, I don't think anybody would be paying taxes, and I'm serious.
Yes, sir. We're talking about, is the tax system truly rigged against the average American? Yes, sir. We're talking about tax strategy. Let's get into this one.
We on now. Let respect us cause we on now. Money up, run the whole town, don't we? This power money can't slow down. Money won't slow down. Ooh, we doing a lot. How we got on top. Why they party? I'm in here grinding. Money I'm stacking. Why they rock diamonds? I can't relate to them, ain't my shit common. I set a goal for me, 2 or 3 commas. 7 figures, 8 figures to 9 figures. On a slow pace to get rich quick. Same time we just think different. Cause when you make it, it hit different.
What it do, y'all? It's your partner Dale back in the saddle again for another edition of the Accountable Podcast. Guys, man, thank you so much for blessing me with your time today, guys. I won't be long, but I will be strong, as my partner Destiny would say, guys. If you could, guys, do me a favor, if you could share, like, and subscribe, no matter what platform that you're on, guys. Click on that little bell right there, guys. So whenever I go live, you know, you get a little alert and you come kick with your partner. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. But if you could, guys, hope I actually add some value today, guys. So let's dive into our topics today, guys. Real simple. Man, we talking money. We talk. We finna get in. We finna get in, y'all. We finna get it in, y'all. Motivation. We finna get it in, y'all, because we're talking about, we talk about taxes today, baby. Money. We talk about, hey, is the tax system rigged against the average American? It's going to be a good one. Number 2, we're going to talk about Trump's big, beautiful bill has passed. We're going to examine the truth behind that whole bill. Number 3, we're going to talk about 3 tax hacks. These 3 tax hacks could save you thousands of dollars. These 3 tax hacks, all right? And then number 4, we're going to talk about save through Trump's big, beautiful bill. We're going to talk about how you can save big in real estate investing, guys. Man, we finna dive into this, guys. So now we got to bring in our partner, Carlton Dennis. Carlton Dennis, guys, is a gentleman that he is a tax strategist, right? He is one of the best I've ever seen do it. But we're going to talk about, we'll walk into the first question, which is going to be, hey, how the rich legally avoid taxes. Now I got to ask the question, because it is the tax system rigged against the average American? Not the elites, the average American. We're going to dive into this real quickly. Let's bring in Carlton real quickly. And from the get-go, we are going to answer this question right up top. Is this system rigged against the little guy, against the average American? Let's dive into this. Here we go.
Is the tax system rigged for the rich?
It is rigged for the rich.
Ooh.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Ooh.
If you're wealthy, you have more options.
Ooh.
And I think if you're lower income, you have less options. And most people that are lower to middle class typically are working for somebody.
Mm.
So they're limited on the amount of deductions they can take.
So right there, he's saying when it comes to answering that question, the reason why the wealthy actually have an advantage or it's rigged in their favor is because they actually have more access. They have more access to being able to implement tax strategies within the tax code, right? That's why it's called a tax code. Those that understand the code can reap the benefits of that code. It's different from a regular W-2 worker. The regular W-2 worker, unfortunately, has very limited tax advantages that they can take advantage of in the tax code. Watch how Carson breaks this down of why the system is rigged. Here we go.
Approach business income, you increase your wealth, you start to qualify for deductions, exemptions, and tax credits that can offset your tax bill.
Is this ever meant to be something that's fair? Or is this just the way it is? Because I look at this in one sense, like rich people get these huge advantages that everyone else doesn't get access to. So if you're self-employed and you make $1 million a year, the options to reduce your income are limitless, essentially.
Yes, that's correct.
But on the other side, you have, I think it's like the top 50% of taxpayers pay 97% of all the taxes.
Yeah.
So they're the ones paying the most into it. So it makes sense that they get the most out of it, dollar for dollar.
Yeah. The middle class pay the highest tax rates, bro. And the top earners pay the least amount of taxes possible. But you have to realize that the top earners are spending the most amount of money, and they're doing what the government wants them to do. They're investing in oil and gas, they're investing in renewable energy, and they're investing into rental real estate, providing affordable housing.
So right there, man, this is so good, is the reason why the wealthy pay a less in taxes as far as dollar amount is because they're following the code of the IRS. The IRS gives incentives to those that are actually providing a service to make society better. Therefore, the wealthy, what we do is we're investing in gold, in oil and gas. We're investing in real estate. We're investing in building big businesses to provide a service to make people's lives better for the U.S. economy. And the tax code rewards that type of a contribution to society. Let's keep it going, guys.
They get the massive amounts of tax credits and paper losses that offsets their active forms of income.
So how much of the incentives, credits, deductions, et cetera, that the government offers these wealthy entrepreneurs and business people is because of like a utilitarian perspective that they want to like boost the economy versus being like a buddy thing because like money and politics are usually intertwined?
I think what it is that the government understands that they can't provide everything for the everyday taxpayer. They can't provide affordable housing for everybody. They can't provide gas for everybody and cover everyone's stove and car gasoline. So they're going to partner with business owners who are going to go and drill holes in Texas, and business owners who are going to buy commercial properties and provide affordable housing and create tax incentives because they understand that they can't do it all. And so if you're somebody that has more access to money, you're going to be able to play in this arena of investing into oil and gas, investing into real estate, investing into EV and solar energy, and you get to benefit the most. But if you're lower income, these opportunities you don't even hear about. All you hear about is 401k and possibly buying a home and writing off property taxes and having a child tax credit.
So how do you learn about all?
And that right there is a con. For them to not in school teach the tax strategies that would give you access to being more wealthy, guys, right? That's a con. And they give you the exact counsel to keep them wealthy. Invest in 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, TSPs, the other different retirement accounts, save money. You want to save secure job benefits. Look at what's going on. All of that language benefits the elites. It benefits their system because they're taking the risk and being, as far as investing their capital to build a big business that serves society so that the government can collect taxes on what you buy, when you're born, as you live, when you die, every type of house you buy, car you buy, your groceries, when you pay every bill. Do you see how this is a partnership? The tax code rewards the individual and or companies that provide this service. That's why it's called a tax code. Those that know the code reap the benefits. Let's keep it going, guys.
All this. Like, what certifications do you personally have to get to keep up to date on all of this?
So I have an enrolled agent's license, which is different than a CPA license. A CPA typically goes to school to study accounting. They normally get a bachelor's degree in accounting, and then they go directly into filing tax returns. That's what 99% of all CPAs do. Enrolled agents pass 3 different tests: an individual test, a business test, and an ethics test, which means we primarily study just tax code and consulting around how to leverage the tax code. So when it comes to write-offs and how many deductions you can take or which deductions to take, an enrolled agent is pretty optimized to be able to help you, whereas a CPA may not be able to play in that arena. But when it comes to filing your tax returns or doing bookkeeping and accounting, CPA all day, got your back, and that's the person you want signing on the tax return.
And I tell you this right now, most entrepreneurs doesn't have an EA. Who this is what Carlson is, an EA. We have CPAs. But CPAs are just good for accounting and filing tax returns. They don't have a strategist giving them wisdom on how they can decrease their tax liability. You're going to see the benefits of having an EA, right, which is what Carlton is, on your team. So to answer the question, is the system rigged? Yes, it's rigged for those that provide that. It's rigged for those that understand the code, and they, because of their understanding, provide the services that the code incentivizes for them, that decreases their tax liability. They keep more of their money. Does that make some sense, guys? It is rigged to those that actually know the code. So yes, now here's the big thing about it. You can actually go from being screwed over to being a benefit of it being rigged too, by what you know. You perish because of your lack of knowledge. We have teams around us of smart people. This is the reason why C students normally are the founders and CEOs, and A and B students are the smart ones that work for the founders and CEOs. So A and B students normally work for the C student every time. So don't get mad and say, it's screwing me over. Don't do none of that. Learn how to stop being screwed by the tax code by learning how to get on the side of the code, understanding the code, or get a team around you to understand the code, so that you can begin to reap the benefits of it being rigged in your favor. Don't get mad. Counter move. Does that make some sense, guys? Let's keep going. This is good, guys. This is really good. Now, guys, let's go to the next question real fast. All right, so now you know Carlton. Carlton is a monster. Go follow him on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. Go follow this young man. He is brilliant at what he does, guys. Let's go to the next topic. All right, guys. Next topic. Next topic is, man, the truth behind Trump's big beautiful bill. It passed. So, guys, let's get some truth behind that thing and see what's going down on this. Let me get to it real fast. Matter of fact, before I do that, let me go back real fast. Let me go back. I'm sorry. Let me go back, guys. Let me go back. All right, let me go back. Now, how do the rich legally avoid paying the taxes? How do they do that? Let's bring Carlton back in real quickly, guys, and dive through this again, because of the fact he goes into a little bit of detail of how, to be honest with you, we pay less in taxes. We do, guys. Don't get mad at us. We just know how to get it accomplished. So let's see what's going on. Here we go.
Make, and how much do you pay in taxes?
I made 8 figures. Hopefully we'll approach 20 million this year if all things go well for our firm. We did just over 11.8 million last year. We're on pace to do close to 20 million this year.
Wow.
And with a 40% profit margin.
Wow.
So yeah, I would have a very significant tax bill if I did nothing. I'd be looking at least $3.5 million in taxes if I absolutely did nothing. I'll probably pay.
Now watch this. Remember, he said 40% profit margin, great gross income coming in, and also net, right? But listen to this bill. He said, if I didn't know how to decrease my tax liability, my tax bill will be $3.5 million. Right? $3.5 million. That's what he said, guys. That's what he said. Let's go back. Here we go.
if I did nothing. I'd be looking at least $3.5 million in taxes if I absolutely did nothing.
Wow.
I'll probably pay 0% in federal income taxes again this year because I'm already actively doing things to offset my taxable income. My private family foundation's already set up. I'm making investments into real estate actively right now. I have movie film projects coming up that give me a 4x deduction on every time I put money into a movie film, which we'll talk more about. So these are the types of things that I'm going to proactively do to offset my tax bill in real time, while most taxpayers are just going to wait till the months of January, February, and April to get told what their tax bill is.
What about,
you see right there? He was proactive in his investment strategy. He didn't wait until January, February, March to say, okay, now tell me what to do, CPA. The CPA, who has limited knowledge when it comes to strategy, what do? They say, oh, no problem. Here's your tax bill. Here it is. It kind of chops my hide when it comes to a lot of business owners, small and really small business owners, that actually pay a quarterly tax bill to the federal government. Why? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. What's the strategy to offset your tax liability? You're giving away free money to the government. Now watch this. When you get a tax return, guys, because you've paid so much in taxes and you get it back, you have essentially gave Uncle Sam a interest-free loan when they give you a tax return. And there's not nothing to celebrate about when you get a tax return, depending on how you get it, right? If you pay the highest in tax liabilities and you get a tax return, that is a terrible strategy. You've given the government a tax-free loan. Congratulations. You've overpaid your tax return. It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. But I see a lot of small business owners do this all the time. But listen to what Carlton said. He's actively investing in movies, which gives him a 4x tax write-off. Real estate, like your partner, I own a lot of real estate. I do that as well also. And oil and gas, other projects. We're actively investing the capital, putting our capital to work, right? Put our capital to work. This is what we got to do. Let's keep going.
Art. What about donating art? Isn't this a bit of a sketchy area? Maybe you buy a piece that's undervalued. It's appraised at 10 times what you paid for it because it's unique, and then you donate it.
Listen,
how does this work?
Listen.
Yeah, I mean, so how it works in the art industry is, like you just said, you can buy a piece of art. Art is so speculative, right? It could be worth $1,000. It could be worth $100,000. What most people do is they'll buy a piece of art inside of their business, deduct it as a business expense initially. Sometimes they'll do this. Or what they'll do is they'll buy a piece of art, then get it appraised and donate that piece of art to their foundations. So if I have a piece of art that I purchased for $1 million and it gets appraised for $1.1 million, so I can write that off and push it over to my foundation. My foundation allows for me to roll over 30% of my adjusted gross income for a year one tax deduction. So we see a lot of people making donations with artwork as a charitable donation that reduces their taxable income.
I saw one piece of art that's really unique.
I hope you wrote all that down. He gave y'all $1 billion worth of gain just on that one play, using art and a family foundation. Why, if you're a small business owner, why are you paying quarterly tax payments? Why? You have no strategy. You're being told to do it by your CPA. Trash. But hey, if you're okay with giving the government a free loan, more power to you. I know about you guys. I work hard to pay the government exactly what they are due. Let me say it again. I work hard to pay the government what they are exactly due from me. I work hard to give them what they're supposed to have, right? With the proper strategy. And the code rewards me. Does that make sense? Now, let's go over to the next thing, guys. All right, guys. Now, the big, beautiful bill, guys. It has come out, guys. Let me say it again. The big, beautiful bill has passed. It's passed, guys. Here it is. It's passed. Now, let's bring in Carlton. He's going to talk a little bit about this bill, right? That Trump brags about, right? Let's see some of the pros and cons concerning the bill by a tax strategist. Okay, someone trained in the strategy of taxes. Here we go.
Let's talk about one of the most popular ones, which is the no tax on tips.
Mm-hmm.
Could you explain this?
Yeah, so we were going back and forth around, are we going to have no taxes on tips? Are we going to have no taxes on overtime? And what we settled on is we get to deduct up to $25,000 of tips. So if you're receiving tipped income, like a lot of people do here in Las Vegas, you get to deduct up to $25,000 on your federal tax return, not on your state tax return. And it doesn't include payroll taxes, but that's a $25,000 deduction. The only issue is, it's only if your adjusted gross income is $150,000 or less. It phases out after that $150,000 if you're single, $300,000 if you're married filing joint. But when you look around the United States, I don't know if you guys have seen this, we have entered into a tip culture. I mean, every time I go to the gas station, every time I go grab a smoothie, somebody's asking me to tip 10, 15, 20%. America and its taxpayers live off of tipped income. This is a huge benefit to them. Being able to deduct the money that you're earning in tips is very, very awesome.
Big time.
And that includes credit card transactions, right?
It does include credit card transactions as well.
And is there any way for, let's say, Jack to structure his income as a tip?
I feel like a lot of people are like,
you know?
how do I structure?
Yeah, NetSuite and Oracle, the sponsors of this podcast, if you could just send it to me as a tip, you know, like I could invoice you and then have like a 10, 15, 20%, you know, at the bottom.
Right.
That would actually...
Yeah, I know it has to be voluntary, but who's to say it's not a voluntary? Can I tip myself? Can Jack tip me? Can I tip Jack? How does this work?
I believe a tip comes directly from a consumer that's buying your product or service.
Correct.
And it would be very difficult to tip yourself. And I don't think that's the intention of how the code was written. However, the ability for you to be able to deduct that $25,000, it's based off of you earning revenue, reporting the revenue, and then getting a deduction based off of what you reported. So it's not that you're not reporting the tipped income. It's just that they're giving you a deduction for the tipped income. It's not that it's not taxed. You're still going to pay taxes on it. You just get to take a deduction for the tipped income that you receive. And this also includes overtime pay. So if you're receiving overtime pay, you get to deduct $12,500 of overtime pay if you're single. $25,000 if you're married filing joint.
Yes, you do.
So I saw a study on this recently that 8% of hourly workers get overtime, and it was only 4% of salaried workers get overtime. So the vast majority of people, more than 90%, this doesn't apply to them.
That's correct. Yes, it's for salaried workers.
It seems like a big promise or a big headline to be like, yeah, no taxes on overtime. But when you really get down to it, it's like so few people will apply for that. And then of that, it's capped pretty low based on the overtime, and then it also expires in 2028 is my understanding.
It could incentivize more people to work longer hours, though.
Do you think it's actually going to?
I think for a small percentage of people, really intuitively, I don't think like a large swath of people will be like, I'll work overtime now because I'm not, I get the deduction. But I do think it will make a small.
But here's the thing, what's the benefit for the employer? Because my understanding is a lot of employers will really like want you to stop working once you get to that overtime pay. Like they'd rather just bring someone else on at that point to take over the hours.
This is the part that I was really looking for. It doesn't really position it well for the employer. It really positions it well for the employee. The employer is still going to have to pay the payroll taxes and still report it. So you're still going to pay the wages and the payroll taxes on the overtime pay. The benefit, though, is that you're retaining key employees because your key employees that are working overtime are also benefiting from the fact that they get to deduct a percentage of their overtime pay, $12,500 if they're single.
Yeah, but they could do that anyway.
Think about it, that's good for the business owner because when it comes to business owner to actually have a staff, we like the capital of someone that replacing us to do a job. So if you can put some incentives in place to where it motivates the employee to work harder, maybe even longer if need be, depending on the project. And this type of incentive does, hand clap of praise, guys, hand clap of praise. But I love the fact that they talked about I believe the no tax on the overtime, and that's limited as well also. So I love that they're getting down to the brass tacks of everything. It makes total sense. I love the honesty. Overall, is it a pretty good bill? Yes, it is a pretty good bill. Does it help everybody? It helps out a lot of people, not everybody, so to speak. But so far, so good. I like the bill. Now, if you want to listen to the entire exchange, you can go right over to their website, their YouTube link, which is right there, which you can easily go look at it. but they go deep into this, right? Deep into this, right? So now let's go to the next topic real quickly, guys, concerning this. Let's go to the next topic. Now, the next topic is this here is, okay, this is to you. Stop tipping Uncle Sam. Stop it. Here are 3 tax hacks that could save you thousands. And we're going to go right into this with our partner. Again, same person, Carlton. Yes, sir. Same person. All right. I want you guys to listen very clearly to how you are, again, tipping Uncle Sam, who is stealing money from you. All right. Here you go. Let's get it in.
The uneducated are always the losers, because if you don't know that the tax code is a game, you will get left behind and you will always end up tipping Uncle Sam. But most importantly, it's those that are in the low to middle class. Because the low to middle class just do the same things over and over again. They make money, pay their taxes, and just go on vacations. They never try to figure out ways to save, reinvest, or utilize the government system to their advantage. People like you and I are going to figure out ways inside of the tax code to build our wealth. But what the issue is low to middle class tend to focus on how they consume their wealth. If we can figure out ways to preserve our wealth by utilizing the tax code, we can help more individuals that are in that low to middle class get into that higher wealth and into the wealthy class.
So if you're
again, it comes down to understanding 2 words: consumption and preservation. Most Americans that are in the middle class and lower class are expert consumers. You are consumed so well, right? And you're the first one to bitch and moan about taxes. But you do nothing about it to cut it to decrease your tax liability. Nothing at all. But you complain about it all the damn time. But you're expert consumers, right? Versus wealthy individuals, we seek to preserve our wealth. Be good stewards of our wealth, right? We like to put our money to work for it to bring back babies, interest, profit, right? We want assets to pay us, not a job to pay us. Assets. Most middle class as well as poor individuals, their asset was not really an asset; is their job. That's why you hear words where you say, "I want a safe, secure job with benefits." That's a person that just gets up, go to work, and pay taxes. All they do. That's all they do. And they're hoping a politician would change, will save them. It never happens, ever.
Making $150,000 a year, W-2. What resources do you have at your disposal to lower your income?
Oh, absolutely. So if you're W-2, the obvious one is going to be to max out your 401k. But then we need to start looking at whether or not you actually feel that you have it in your wheelhouse to have a business on the tax return, so you can convert some of those everyday expenses that you're spending your money on, cell phone, car, gas, etc., into write-offs. Because at the end of the day, we are all spending money on the same things. We all need a roof over our head. We all need a car to drive. We all need a cell phone to communicate with people. The issue is that W-2 taxpayers can't write any of that off. But as soon as you have a business on the tax returns, those everyday expenses become business write-offs for you every single year, as long as your business is a legitimate business and you're in the pursuit of income with your expenses. So if you're asking me, what is the average W-2 employee?
So again, he's telling you guys to begin a side hustle. A side hustle. You're already paying for a cell phone bill. You're already paying for gas. You're already paying for food when you go out to eat. You're already doing this stuff already. You're already paying for your internet. You're already paying for your electricity bill. You're already paying for it. Begin a business and write it off. It's simple. You can begin a business, guys, for $299. $200. A home business. Now you can begin to utilize deductions. Of course, maximize out your retirement account if you want to say that's fine, whatever. It's fine. But what I'm saying is, begin a side hustle. Now you want to make sure you want to make some money, but you want to also maximize those write-offs so you can begin to decrease your tax liability. Stop giving Uncle Sam a free loan. Let's keep going.
What can they write off? Absolutely nothing. You're putting money into a 401k. You're hoping that you have a home so you can write off your property taxes or mortgage interest, or you're giving money away to charity, or you have a child that you can claim a child tax credit for. The government has not set up the system for you. The government has set up the system for business owners and investors. They understand that you take no risk when you're a W-2 employee. The business owner took all the risk when they decided to hire you. If you decide to show up to work and you don't want to put in 100% effort, you're still going to get paid 100% of your paycheck. That's part of being a W-2. So yes, the government understands that, which is why the government creates more incentives for those that take more risk.
What's the bare minimum that you have to get from a business in order to qualify? Like you obviously can't just create an LLC and then just like deduct things and show zero income. Like how long?
Technically, you can for
I know
2
you
years.
can.
Yeah,
is
for
it 2 years? And
2
then,
years
and then
is the
what?
threshold. If you're not showing an economic gain by year 3, they can go back in over those last couple of years and treat those last couple of years as hobby businesses, make you refile the tax returns without that business income, and then you pay the taxes on what you would have paid. So that's an issue. So if you're not showing any income, that's a big red flag to the IRS. We have a lot of, random, taxpayers that come over to us that had these returns from previous years with these Schedule Cs that had $40,000, $50,000 in losses, but no income on the tax returns. They stick out like a sore thumb to the IRS because you're essentially saying, I'm just writing stuff off and haven't figured out what I'm doing yet. IRS is only going to allow you to do that for 2 years. You need to show the IRS that you're trying to make an economic gain, or they're going to come in and say, you started a hobby. That's not a legitimate business, which means those expenses aren't legitimate. Take them off of your return and refile.
Who's to say you can't pay yourself through the business? Like, let's say I'm W-2, but then I take $10,000 of my own money and buy my own product through my LLC to show income. I mean, it seems like there's always like a workaround,
Well, if you're buying your own product, how do you turn around and then benefit from that if you're spending money
because you're
that you
off,
already paid taxes
you're able to
on?
Then write it off and show the expense that like, hey, I got a $10,000 sale.
Yeah, but it's with income that's already taxable because you're W-2, so you already pay taxes on that income.
Yeah, but you're deducting it anyway because your expenses are going to equal what you just brought in.
But if you're going to go put money into a business to go grow a business, that is how most businesses start. If you're going to put money in to then buy your own products and then just be able to deduct your car and your home office, how long are you going to be able to keep this up before the IRS says, you're not still showing an economic gain? Because the only way you benefit is if you're at a loss. The loss is what offsets your other forms of income. If I'm making $150,000 W-2 and I go start a business, that business performing at a loss offsets my W-2 income, which increases the amount of money I receive back in a refund. If I start a business and that business is profitable, all I just did was just increase the amount of taxes I pay.
But now who's to say you're not just a bad business guy? Like you're just starting a business, 2 years, it fails. You try something out, 2 years, it fails. 2 years, it fails. There's someone out there who's just tried thing after thing after thing, and it's just they've all failed for 10 years. How do you separate that person from the other one who's just trying to get right off?
Yeah. I mean, the IRS are human beings, right? So they understand what intent looks like and what someone showing intent looks like, having a website, having legitimate expenses, having legitimate receipts to show, a social media account, products and services that they're trying to market. You could just be bad at business. But what most people do is they just try to get over on the IRS. They claim these expenses. When the IRS asks questions about them, they don't have anything to provide. I don't have a receipt. I can't actually formally tell you the intent of why I decided to spend money on this. And then they end up going down this route of wanting to repeal some of those deductions they put on their tax returns because they don't want to be on the hook with the IRS and have the IRS scrutinizing them.
What's it like to get...
So again, guys, understand this. Don't try to play the IRS. Okay? The strategy is to have a profitable business, not just a side hustle to just write stuff off. They'll see that in a second. They're not dumb at all. So yes, begin a side hustle no matter what it is, but make sure that your intention is to be profitable. Make sure that it is to be profitable. Does that make some sense, guys? All right. Now, let's go to our last topic real fast, guys. All right, our last topic. And this has been so good. I've enjoyed this. Last one is how the rich legally avoid taxes, how to use Trump's tax bill to save big on real estate. You know this is my favorite one, baby, because your partner is in real estate development and private equity finance. Let's get into this one, baby. Yeah, hey, take notes. Take notes on this one, guys, because he goes in a little bit on this one, y'all. All right, he goes in on this one. Let's see how, again, it's important for you to understand the tax bills, which is part of the code, right? Which informs the code, tax code. Then you can actually share that with your team, or your team can share that with you. Say, how can I use this new bill to decrease my tax liability while at the exact same time increasing my profitability? Here we go. Let's dive into this real fast.
One of the biggest things out of this bill is bonus depreciation.
Woo! Yeah.
Who stands to gain the most and who stands to lose the most for this being extended?
Yeah. So explain that for people who have no idea what bonus depreciation is.
Yeah. So bonus depreciation allows for you to take a year one deduction or write-off on a qualified piece of equipment or a vehicle.
Yes.
We see a lot of business owners utilizing bonus depreciation when they buy vehicles that weigh over 6,000 pounds, or if the gross vehicle weight ratio weighs over 6,000 pounds. So self-employed business owners stand to gain the most out of bonus depreciation being back at 100%, and it's permanent this time.
Correct.
You don't have to worry about it going to 80, 60, 40, 20. That game is completely over.
Sir.
You go into Mercedes and you want to buy a G-Wagon, you can put your $10,000 down payment down. If that vehicle's 100% business use and it's being used 100% business, you're writing off that car.
Correct.
Whether it's $100,000 or $200,000, even though you financed it. That's very awesome for business owners. They get to leverage debt to take tax deductions. But in the real estate space, we also get to utilize this in the form of cost segregation studies. So if you're a real estate professional, or if you're running a short-term rental, you can perform a cost segregation study, create this massive paper loss, and hopefully you'll be able to use that paper loss to offset W-2 or 1099 income.
Yes, sir.
I was just thinking about your house, Jack. You could bonus depreciate that warehouse.
Yes, we did say that if you're buying a house, Jack, you could look at what's called the self-rental strategy. So you're self-employed. I'm assuming you have an LLC or an S corporation. If you buy this new facility and use it for content, as long as you own the new facility 100% yourself and you own your LLC or S corporation 100% yourself, you can make a grouping election to group in this activity of you running a studio. It's an active business that you'd be running a studio out of, with your active LLC or S corporation that you're doing content media with. Now you can use the losses from a cost segregation study of a house that you purchase for content studio, warehouse, et cetera, to offset the active forms of income that you're earning from your S corporation. This does not require you to spend 750 hours, does not require you to manage the property for 100 hours. Why? Because you're already active and materially participated inside of your S corporation.
So I can accelerated depreciation, something that like a warehouse that is on my, that's what I was trying to say. I didn't know if that was possible, because I didn't know if I had to like qualify as a real estate professional to that, because it's a piece of real estate.
Right. I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've ever talked about that tax strategy on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube before.
That's
crazy. It's the biggest one for real estate investors.
I normally keep the self-rental strategy like with my clients for sure.
Okay. So, all right. So maybe we have a little, I want to show you the property. We could have a little conversation.
Well, now that you're talking about it, break that down a little bit further. How could I utilize this?
Listen.
Let's just say I'm making YouTube videos all day.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Okay, so if I'm making YouTube videos all day, I can take a home office deduction, or I can choose to go have a studio space, right? I could rent a studio space, or I could buy a studio space. If I'm buying a studio space, I'm going to be running an active business inside of that studio space. It's not like I'm renting out to another tenant. I'm renting out to my active business. So what I do is I create a grouping election called a -4 grouping election. Under code section 469-4, you can make a grouping election with an active property that you own and an active business. The deduction comes when you decide to perform the cost segregation study. All that a cost segregation study is saying is that I'm just going to separate the costs of the structural and non-structural and write off the non-structural in a quicker amount of time. When that loss shows up on the tax return, it's considered a non-passive loss. Same thing with your S corporation income. That's non-passive income. So it flows through to offset your K1 income on your individual tax return.
But I could do that anyway, regardless of who I rent the property to. So if I'm buying a warehouse and I move in and I pay myself $10,000 a month, I'm getting the same write-off as though I just rented it to a tenant at $10,000 a month. So either way, I'm getting the same write-off, but this one I'm just moving in and paying myself rent.
Correct. Do we like that one?
Sure.
I love that strategy too.
My only thing is that it doesn't matter who you rent it to, which could be a plus or a minus.
Well, if I'm renting it to another party, the IRS says that, okay, so now that this property is passive in nature, show me that it's active. The only way you can show me it's active is if you're running a short-term rental strategy where the tenant is staying in the property for 7 days or less and you're managing it 100 hours and no one manages the property more than you, or you qualify as a real estate professional. So if you don't qualify as a real estate professional, you're not running the short-term rental strategy, then your only other option is a self-rental, which means you have to rent it back to yourself. And in order for you to make that election, you have to group that LLC in with your S corporation on the tax return.
Okay, but then what you're saying is that let's just say I get bonus depreciation, and that's $500,000 up front.
Yes.
If I rented to a tenant, they would pay $120,000 a year.
Okay.
And so that means I'd get 4 years basically of a tax write-off with a tenant. Or if I moved in and I pay myself, I could get that whole $500,000 write-up because I'm renting it myself.
That's 100%.
And it's an active part of the business. So that's the benefit, is I claim 100% year one versus spreading it across my rental income from the property over a few years.
Well, if you're doing a cost segregation study, you're not going to take all of the depreciation year one. You're only just going to take that structural part as year one deduction, or sorry, non-structural part as year one deduction. All the structural part still remains in that 27 and a half or 39 year.
Yes, sir.
I would say 60% of all real estate is typically structural. So you're not going to be able to accelerate that.
Correct.
But about 40% is non-structural, of which you can claim as a year one write-off with bonus depreciation. So if I have $1 million building, I could be looking almost at $400,000 in a year one deduction.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Wow. Guys, I mean, they go on and on and on and on. And I could listen to it all day long, guys. He gave you guys a nugget on the cost segregation when it comes to content at your house or at a warehouse at your house. He gave y'all some game there. So now, guys, do you see the importance, right, of you actually having a team with you, a team, right? So that your team knows the code and can advise you on how you can maximize the code to decrease your tax liability, right? While at the exact same time increasing your cash flow. Guys, did you guys know that Donald Trump back, I think in 2017, 2018, one of the two, maybe in 2020, whatever it may be, you know, he actually got a $5.4 million tax return from the government because of cost segregation studies. Have you ever received a tax return? Not because you overpaid taxes, but because of the deductions, because your team located this in the amount of $5.4 million? I have not. The biggest I ever got was $15,000. 15 grand. Shocked the hell out of me. I said, whoa, what in the world? Again, tax strategy. Who do you have on your team that can give you strategy, guys? Strategy outside of yourself, guys. Man, this was so good, guys. This was wonderful to me. I enjoyed this time, guys. Now, I will tell you this, guys. In order for you to begin to operate like the wealthy, number one, examine your close circle. Do you have advisors around you that understand the tax code and laws better than you? If the answer is no, change rooms and change team members. You've outgrown that room. Okay? Be okay with being the dumbest person in the room. Once you've done that, right? Go out and begin to invest in real estate or whatever it may be and run the play of running a business. If you're a W-2 worker, follow the counsel that Carlson actually said, which is real simple. Start a side hustle from home with the intent to make money, right? So you can maximize those tax write-offs. I mean, this was so good, guys. Phenomenal type of thing, guys. I guys, also real quick, guys, I am on the app called Minnect, right? Minnect. Oh, 1 second, Minnect. And what Minnect is, it is an app founded by Patrick Big David. And if you ever want to pick my brain, ask me any questions, send me a text message at all concerning business, real estate, finance, taxes, strategy, life. I am one text voice call, a FaceTime call by using Minnect. Real simple, guys. I answer all of my messages, all of them, guys. If you want to pick my brains, real simple, guys. Find me on Minnect. All right. Number 2, guys. Also, you guys know that I'm in real estate development and private finance. I'm always asked, Liddell, can you lead me on how to invest in real estate? The answer is always yes, but investing is a community type of discipline, right? Investing begins of what you know. And I always tell everybody is when it comes to real estate, you make money in real estate when you buy, not when you sell. This is the reason why I give away a free book called, and it's completely free, called Distressed Property Investing, right? It's how to locate a distressed property in your city, county, or state. Guys, and I go over one technique in this free ebook to where it is you can actually get a list of distressed properties in your city by making one phone call for free. It's in this book. It is completely free. Don't want nothing from you at all. Nothing. I want to get you the information. That is it, guys. I always say you are one deal away from changing your life and the legacy behind you. Just one deal away. And also, guys, every single Friday, guys, we do Real Estate Friday Live. Me and Cliff, man, we talk about all things real estate. Here is a brief. It's at 5 p.m. CST. It's on all platforms. Here's a little bit of a sneak peek of what we talk about. Here we go.
What's good, baby? It's your boy Dale. I'm back in the saddle again. Our motto is to buy, build. We already bought it already, so we already own it, free and clear. Refinance to long-term debt, cash flow. That is the motto. Cliff, man, is that a pretty strong motto, man? What do you think?
Man, the model is strong. Like, you're getting each piece of the invest, right?
Again, guys, every Friday at 5 p.m. CST is Real Estate Friday Live. We talk about the current market analysis, what's going on with the real estate market, whether it be commercial, apartment complexes, and single-family residences, guys. Then we talk about an issue. We're probably going to dive into taxes tomorrow, right? And we're going to talk about most likely there's the issue going on in California concerning real estate. And it's concerning how the government may be trying to take over those homes that burned down by passing a law. We're going to talk about that. It's in California. Get out of California, guys. Get out. All right, guys. And lastly, guys, you know how every Friday at 5 p.m. CST, come kick it with your partner, Nick Cliff, man. It's real simple. That's it, guys. But, guys, that's all I had for today, guys. Thank you so much for blessing me with your time, guys. Again, if you are wanting the free ebook, guys, scan on the QR code right here on the screen, or you're welcome to go in the show notes below, guys. Very simple. Click on the link. It takes you right to the page. Download it. It's yours. It is 100% free. Free. All right, guys. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. You know I end every single time. Before you leave, baby, and while you can, you see that thing, baby. Take that picture for your mom and them. Holla at your partner. God bless you guys. See you next Thursday, guys. And also tomorrow at 5 p.m. All right, y'all. Peace.
Okay, so you did fixes and flips first, or were they? Now it sounds like you're more buy and hold. Okay, so you're wholesale first. Okay,
because I was broke. I had no credit. I had no money. So I had to get some money coming in. So I learned how to do wholesale.
And you were doing wholesaling at the good time too.
2000.
When it wasn't so saturated. There was.
I kind of saw the debacle coming. Okay. It didn't make any sense. I was like, wait a minute, how can you lend out to retail buyers 99.7%?
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a down tick, it's insolvent.
And you got to remember, in some states, because I lived in Florida at the time, you could have loan to value above 100% of your property.
Right.
The first property that I bought, it was 110%. We left the bank with like $30,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was amazing to me. I was like, why am I not doing this all the time? But then clearly 08, 09 let me know why people shouldn't have been doing that all the time.
08, 09, that's why I made a lion's share of my money.
Wow.
People
Okay.
were actually running from the cows. I was running to it.
Of course.
Because I saw it was coming.
Okay.
A lot of my business colleagues back then were buying flippers.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was wise for me to share 50% of my profit with Uncle Sam. He didn't do no work.
Okay.
So why would I give him free money?
Of course.
Okay, how can I make sure I'm still legal, but keep the lion's share of the cash flow?
Of course.
So I began studying the tax code with my accountants and CPAs, and I said, okay, I'm going to buy a whole lot of properties. Now watch this. I actually buy a lot of properties. I take home money when I actually acquire it. Every single time.
Okay, you need to break that down just a little bit.
If you wanted to know how successful real estate investors make money with their acquired real estate and not when they sell it, click on the link below or swipe up and download our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing. The blueprint is in the ebook. Stay blessed, holla at your partner, and download the ebook today.